So I'm going to teach you the basics about sniping and how to use all your stuff. But don't be afraid to use your secondary if you miss a shot, or if you're up close, or if you throw your grenades or whatever. It's a game. Just have fun with it. And if you're just trying to learn to snipe, there's nothing wrong with it. Alright, so we're going to get into this, and I'm going to teach you the basics about sniping effectively at close, long range, and medium range. Okay, so starting off, you're going to have to figure out one thing first off, your sensitivity. The main sensitivities I would play from is 7 to 14, okay? 14 being the highest, boom. 7 being the lowest, which, it's still decent. I think you can still turn on people somewhat. It's a little slower for me, but that's just me. But if you're playing like 4 or something like that, or 2 or something, just work your way up. Like, just bump your sensitivity up 1, work on it, and then once you get used to that, go in, bump it up again, once you get used to that, play a couple games with it. Once you get used to it, bump it up again, and then you'll get used to, once you get used to the sensitivity you like let's say you don't like 8, so you go back down to 7, and that's perfect for you. So you'll figure out the sensitivity you like. You just got to fool around with it, mess around with it, and figure out what you like and what you enjoy. I usually play on 14 to 12, somewhere around that area. But that's just me. I mean, everyone is different. Everyone doesn't have all the same sensitivities. Now, we're going to teach you the basics of sniping. So sensitivity is one of the most important things you need to learn and figure out for yourself. Next is the way to snipe. Now, right here is what you want to do. Not move. Okay? It's the biggest and probably the most important thing in sniping, in any game, in any Call of Duty sniping. You do not move your left analog stick when you snipe. You are stationary or stop. Just pretty much stop. Don't take your thumb off your left analog stick. Aim in, and then you shoot. Now you can move your right analog stick. That way you can drag scope, which I'll teach you that here in a little bit. You're just going to play around with it and get used to it. It is going to take a little bit for your fingers to get used to stopping and then just dragging onto the person. Ooh, nice headshot. But, that's what you got to make sure you stop. Stop, shoot, and then you can move again. Once you shoot, then you can move again. If you're playing online, the lag difference and pretty much connection issues online are probably going to be a little bit more of a pain, so you might have to wait an extra millisecond before you can actually move so your bullet actually hits, depending on your connection. If you have a 2 or 3 bar, your bullets might hit somewhat, but if you have a 4 bar, you're going to hit pretty much all the time. 3 bar is pretty good. That's what I usually have because my internet's pretty bad. So 2 bar is what I play on UK connection, and UK people play on American connection. So it can be pretty bad, but pretty good at the same time. Alright, so I talked about sensitivity. I talked about not moving when you're sniping. That's probably the most 2 important things you need to know about this. Now we're going to talk about leading your shots. Now, leading your shots are pretty much, I don't really have a moving target, but let's say this person was moving that way, this way over here. So what I would do is aim in front of them, and then I drag onto them. Okay? That's all I do. I aim on them and then either wait for them to run into my crosshairs, or I drag it onto them. And that's leading your shot. That's what you're going to have to do online. If you play practice, like private matches, local matches, or a custom game like I'm doing right now with bots, you won't have to worry about leading your shot too much. You'll probably have to lead it maybe right about here. Online, you'll probably have to lead it somewhat different. It depends on if they're running, if they're walking, or if they're just stationary, So that's how you're going to have to learn how to lead your shots as well. It's going to take some time. You're just going to keep practicing at it, and you're going to figure it out eventually. I'm just giving you the basic tools of sniping, so that way you can figure out what you need to do. The other thing I want to teach you before learning how to do the tools of the trade for sniping is don't rush your shots. I see a lot of people pop shotting, which is this. And that's not going to hit. Make sure, if you're going to quick scope, you look through your scope. Take your time. If someone's far away, hard scope them. Yeah, it will take some time, but if you have a lower sensitivity, which I don't, you might actually be able to get on that guy faster. So, now we're going to get into the basics of the tools of the trade of sniping. So, as you see here, I have 4 white crosshairs on my screen, which I don't know if you can see them too well right here. I think you can see them a little bit better in here. As you see, they're top, bottom, left, and right. One's over top my scope, as you can see. And the one thing I have to say is kind of get used to using them. I mean, if you play on hardcore, don't worry about it. They're mainly where your scope's going to be. the middle of your white crosshairs, as you can see on the screen, is where your scope crosshairs is going to be, more or less. Okay? So if I shoot, as you can see, they're pretty much right in the middle. So that's where they're going to be. Okay? So that's one thing you need to know. Okay, so the next thing you need to know is how to no-scope. No-scope's pretty easy. It's pretty much called barrel stuffing because you stuff your barrel right into a person, like this. And just, pull the trigger. Now, they won't hit all the time. As you've seen, that first shot was over here, and the second shot was right there. So, right there, and right there. So, what you want to do is, no-scoping is going to be within your white crosshair range, as you can see. I'm going to reload real quick. As you see, they're mainly in the white crosshair range. You're not going to get a perfect no-scope across map every single time. If you do go for them. Like, say, oh, I want to hit that guy in that window over there. It's not going to hit. You have a really slim chance of hitting that. So, that's no-scoping. It's really effective. You can still knife. You can still pull out your secondary. It doesn't really matter what you do. But no-scoping is one of the tools of the trade. So, that's one thing you got to learn as well. Like I said, just go into a game and practice. Not a public game. Do not go into a public game until you feel that you are confident enough to go into a public game and snipe and do somewhat decent. You want to help your team out. You don't want to go in there and go 1-20. Okay, I know it's bad, but you got to practice before. Think about this. You gotta crawl before you can walk. Kind of like a baby reference. Okay, so pop shotting. I showed that before. You pretty much shoot before you see through your scope. It's right between quick scoping and no scope. And I see a lot of people doing that. All the shots, like maybe one, yeah, like I think 2 hit. But that was because, some of them will hit, some of them won't. Most of them are over here, some of them right here. They're all over the place. And that's because they don't completely quick scope. Okay, that's one thing you will learn. The laser right here, it will actually help with pop shotting, but I do not recommend you trying to pop shot every shot, or quick scope every shot, or no scope, or hard scope. Use all the tools of the trade the way you need to. Okay. Okay, so pop shotting's done. We're gonna move on to the one that you've been waiting for, is quick scoping / drag scoping. Okay, so quick scoping, as soon as you see your crosshairs through your scope, as soon as you see it through here, pull the trigger. If you do that every single time, your shot will hit right in the middle of your crosshairs, your white crosshairs. So boom, 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 and you're done. As you can see, they're all conjoined together in that little circle right there, right where the middle of my crosshairs are. So I hit every single shot. All I need to do is just look through my scope. People rush your shots. That's why I said that's what pop shotting are. They just rush the shots. They're like, oh, and then see, that's what you get. If you don't rush your shots, you get a lot more of a conjoined or a lot closer of a group of bullets. That way, it's not, you don't have one stray one over here, and you're like, oh, I should have hit that shot. No, if you did, it would have been over here. It would be over here. So, that's one thing you need to learn as well. So, I'm going to go into the classes real quick. CPUs first. And it's a good thing to use for quickscoping because it steadies your sway. As you can see, there's hardly any sway. On Ghost, they have a built-in CPU on the snipers, which is pretty cool. Well, for the bolt actions anyways. For the other snipers, they don't. But, so, that's that. As you can see, there's hardly any sway when I shoot, The only thing is the recoil. Another thing you will have to learn is to learn your bolt back time. As soon as you hear that click, then you can shoot again. Okay? You don't want to try rushing your shots because your gun will jam and you'll probably die. So, that's another thing you want to learn. One thing you see me doing a lot is hiding behind cover. And that's one thing you do want to learn to do is like pop around a corner and shoot someone. And use cover to your advantage. Because snipers are a disadvantage as it is. I taught you about quickscoping. Now, drag scoping is another form of quickscoping, and it's mainly what I use because I started playing in Black Ops 1. So, drag scoping is more or less, like I said, leading your shot. You just gotta drag it onto the body. I know some of those didn't hit, but that was a little close. Usually I'm like over here, and I drag in, and it hits. See? And that's what you do. Like I said, you don't move your left analog stick. You zoom in, and you're somewhat close to the body, so your white crosshairs are somewhat not like centered, but like either off to the left or off to the right, and then you just drag onto the body and shoot. But you do it really fast. It looks like this. I know I think some of those shots are off, but that's okay. But that's what it looks like. You know, you just drag on this body and everything like that. So combining quick scoping, which would be that, with drag scoping, your medium to close range, and sometimes long range, will be even better. So now laser, as you can see, it helps with hip fire. It does help with pop shotting as well, but you know, you don't need to use it. It's just an attachment. Like I said, play around with your attachments, play around with your perks and equipment, and play around with your sensitivity, and just go into a game and practice. That's all you can do. I think I've pretty much taught you everything else that there is to learn in sniping, more or less. The only other thing I could teach you is the reload cancel, but I don't want to really teach you that until you get a little bit more advanced for it. But I guess I could put it in this video anyways, that way you can come back and look at it if you want to. Variable zoom is for those people that have low sensitivities and they can just, you know, shoot someone across map with a lower zoom. I mean, you can zoom in with it. I've gotten feeds with it already zoomed in, but you know, that's up to you. Alright, so the reload cancel. It's a lot harder than it looks, because you have to have some sprint ability to be able to do it. Marathon will help, or extreme conditioning I think is on this game. I don't remember what's on this game, but whatever makes you run a lot more, or infinite, makes you run a lot faster, or a lot more, or infinite, or something like that, use that, okay? So what you do is, you shoot, and you can also do it with a no-scope. You shoot, then after you shoot, you reload, and then sprint to cancel it. It cancels your bolt back action, and it cancels the time that it takes to bolt back your gun. So it takes a good 1 to 2 seconds, which is the amount that it takes to bolt back your gun, but you can actually cancel that out. So it should look like this. Like, this is the regular scope. Okay, this is me quick scoping real quick. I'll show you on this wall, I guess. Okay, now that was with everything. That was with fast mags, and that was with, you know, every single shot hit. These ones might not hit as much, but I'm going to try my best. So, you know, they all should join one spot right there. And that was as fast as I could shoot with the regular bolt back time. Alright, so now if you reload cancel, it should look something like this. And that's all you do. It takes a little bit to get used to. I've been used to the Ghost reload cancel right now. I could probably play a couple of games and get used to the reload cancel on here, but that's all you do is just shoot, reload. As soon as he pulls the clip out, you just sprint to cancel it, and it cancels your bolt back time. That way you don't have to worry about your bolt back time. And it's a lot better for feeding. That's what feeders do. I mean, that's... And then once he reloads completely, once he puts the clip in, you can just sprint and cancel that. That way he doesn't have to put the bolt back down. So, it's just something you need to practice with. You'll just need to practice. You just got to keep practicing. You got to have patience during it. I mean, you're not going to learn it all in one day. It's probably going to take a couple weeks until you get the hang of just sniping in general. And then you got to have persistence. You got to keep working towards it. You got to keep pushing towards it. You got to keep doing it. That's all there is to it. I can't really give you any more tools than that, you know. I pretty much went over everything, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something from the video, and just remember, practice, and just keep at it, and have tons of patience. Just watch this video over and over again if you get a little bit confused, and yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate, favorite, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. It's always down below, and I will see you guys later with more videos and more Ghost content. in the future. I am out. Peace.